A very, very warm Sunday evening. This is Arnav Chaudhary. You are live on my YouTube channel, Arun Foot. And on June 22nd, we will once more talk about Indian football, the current state of affairs surrounding the ISL. We will get to hopefully talk about the India under 23s. We will talk about the Indian women's national team, which kick off their AFC Women's 2026, AFC Women's Asian Cup 2026 qualifiers, and anything else you want to talk about. And at the start, maybe you are watching later on, not maybe live. Do leave a like behind if you like our conversation. Do share it with other people if you think, it is worth it, that other people should be able to know what we are talking about here on this channel as we discuss things Indian football. And of course, also subscribe to the channel if you want to be part of the conversation. And as always, thank you to those of you who follow me, who follow the channel. We're at 2,704. So a small little milestone on the passage towards 3,000 subscribers. And watch the shorter videos that I try and make on a regular basis. Did something today about the future of the ISL in 2025. A lot of what I would say, a lot of uncertainty, I would say, is the nice word at the moment on the ISL. Did something I said about the Baichung press conference, which I found very, very interesting on Friday in Kolkata. Did yesterday something which I found a very honest, very candid interview with Anthony Andrews. Good conversation. And a little earlier in the week, of course, I spoke to Ravi Pushkar of FC Goa, which of course has had a lot of views. And again, look at both of them and then see. So let's hope and see what happens. Hi, Kumar. Welcome back. Mike says people on live stream are discussing about ISL transfer update. Mike, what about people will talk about ISL transfer. See, clubs are still looking at things and are planning the new season on one side. On the other side, the clubs are realizing, we are in a very, very tricky scenario. And therefore, we'll have to wait and see. So therefore, other people can discuss it. I think, to me, it is not the priority of topics of discussion when we talk about Indian football. I think, to me, is what we've discussed on this channel now for days and weeks. So therefore, let's wait and see what happens. Siddhant, sir, what's your profession? It's out of topic, but yeah. Siddhant, I work in professional sports, mainly in football. Do other sports as well. I've been doing some work in handball as well in regard to management. Have a media background as well. So yeah, that's what I actually factually do. Hi, Blue. More concern of ISL. We are moving in a direction which is at some stage one would have to call it a point of no return. I think at the moment, I think that's the dangerous part, I think. And, to me, it's very, 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 very clear that this has been the state. I think even people working in the ISL did not want to realize what the state is, because for them as well, hey, listen, the system is running. I mean, to me, I think the very dangerous thing is that if ISL teams and the ISL were actually in minimal to no communication, which is a fact, right? That is factually has been and is the case. And therefore, yeah, we are where it is. What is the turbulence happening if I'm hearing from others? Kumar, it is Kalyan versus Baichung. It is the question regard to Baichung. It is Supreme Court. It is uncertainty about the leagues, the ISL, who is I League champions, what happens to the I League if the ISL doesn't happen. I think one realization which a lot of people are not having is, again, give uh, uh, how can the AIFF run the system? Because the budgets are tough anyway, and then you're going to miss 50 crores. I think that's the biggest question of all. Can the AIFF run the system without the money of Reliance? And the simple answer is no, right? Do you see any new way? So do you see any way New America can be signed? Blue, the question is at some stage, that's my concern. Could Reliance say, you know what, thank you very much. We've tried. Uh, uh, there's a lot of speculation. And there's a lot of, this and that and everything being put out by people. I think a new MRA could be signed, but a new MRA can only be signed by a new AIFF. I think we need to be clear about that. I think the current AIFF is in no position to be signing a new MRA, right? So, and so that's reality. Hi, Vaishnav, welcome back. Another that these guys do not have any concerns about ISO, whether ISO is not happening. Yeah, true. Constitution thing will sort out. No, constitution will create more chaos. Anyone who says that a new constitution and the way it's being framed at this moment in time will sort out things in Indian football does not understand football, does not understand the constitution, and does not understand governance. That constitution is in violation actually of all rules and regulations in sports. So those people who are involved in that, it's criminal activity what they're doing actually, right? And if it's cleared by the Supreme Court, and that is your problem. We have people deciding matters of sports who do not understand sports, you know, and that's the reality. Dulad has also done a video a few days ago. Now some people raising situation uncertain future. See, Uchud, a lot of people want to speak in Hindi and want to speak in Bangla or in Malayalam, or I don't even know. Most probably there are also channels in other languages. In the south or the northeast where football is there is an interest, and there a lot of people have not been talking about these issues. And I'll be very, very honest that sorry, don't want to sound arrogant or full of myself, but I think most people not. I think I know I'm the only person who's been speaking about these issues really openly. For the last 2 years, raising a lot of questions, a lot of issues, right? And people have been on a honeymoon and a party, and yeah, if ISL doesn't exist, I League's best player would get between 50 lakhs to a pro per year. Your thoughts, Rohit? If ISL doesn't exist, I League doesn't exist either. I don't know if people are realizing that. Again, if the AIFF does not get the money from Reliance, it is in no position to organize an I League, I League 2, I League 3, IWL, IWL2. Right? People will tell you something different, but that's the reality. Because not only the ISL franchisees or clubs, whatever you want to call them, will say thank you very much. And I believe that 20-25%, 20 to 25 professional football clubs could disappear from the face of the earth. That's a reality. So, yeah. If ISL, so therefore, Rohit, again, sorry, to answer your question, I don't know who's supposed to pay you 1 crore, right? If ISL doesn't exist, then whatever we have, the money, the professionalism, all will be lost. Very good. Yeah, very right, Aditya. A player like Anwar at centre back, how many Anwar Alis can you find in Germany right now? Rohit, I can't give you a number, but hundreds most probably. Another new structure is the opinion is taken it or leave it. Who says that, Kumar? Who's saying that? You're reading something, you're maybe watching something, but are those the facts? I think you should be, as I've said to you guys multiple times now, right? Question everything that you're reading or hearing, So, therefore, that's the thing, right? So that's the reality. Good evening, Kieran Rare. If ISL wants to fix the league and wants the clubs to be financially stable, then why not put financial restrictions like the Spanish FA does on its clubs? The Spanish FA puts, per se, no restriction in this La Liga. And I think, Aditya, I've said this now multiple times. If I'm working in the ISL and with this whole jugaad business that people are doing in the ISL, they will try and find ways of working around those restrictions, very simply said. Right? So, yeah. So, therefore, don't compare us with Spain. Germany, the German restrictions are even tougher. Yeah. So, therefore, won't work. Bacho's been raising his voice for quite some time now. Whenever the agenda, I'm surprised to see none of his suggestions paid heed to, as per his version. Is he really raising those, or is he just saying that in the media I'm raising those? I think that should be the question that Bhutia needs to answer. Are we seeing an alteration in football now? Are you saying alteration or altercation? Two top-tier clubs from Albania Romania have shown genuine interest in the signing of Matan Raina from Lisbon on loan for 6 months. You thought it's another Vijay C3 kind of move? XYZ, no disrespect to the player, but a player who's not even proven his class in the ISL. A player who, yeah, I mean, what will he do in Albania, Romania? Do we understand the standard of football in that part of the world? And so, therefore, I don't bother. I mean, Hanwal is asking if it's true or not. I don't know. I wouldn't bother at the moment about these kind of rumors, right? Who's putting out those rumors? Again, does it make sense, right? So that's the problem. So that's the issue. So cricket this season, I don't know, Pranjal, for you, maybe, but yeah, for others, maybe international football. We all curse AIFF manager and all, but I spoke with someone today and he said improving quality is in players' hand to max extend, and then they just become digital creators these days, which is quite different from whole world. Generally, I've said this. If you look at the stakeholders of Indian football, right, when we talk about the stakeholders of Indian football, who do we speak about? We speak about the AIFF, we speak about, the clubs, we speak about the state affairs, the academies, the football training centers, we speak about the coaches, players come down the list, no? So, to me, The question at the end of the day is, what are the players doing? Now, there are two sides to the story. One side is the financial side. If players are, so for them, the money part is important. And you want to develop yourself. And it seems that at this moment in time, 90%, maybe 95% of players are choosing, maybe even 95, more than 95% of players are choosing that, I take the money over everything else. So therefore, rumor alert, a guy from WCB Secretary contacted Mehta recently and now from Cyprus League and 3 other AIFF clubs. Yeah. As you say, rumor alert. If any one of these guys goes abroad, I wish them the best. I hope they succeed. But this is nothing which gets me excited. Heard big hits sports tried to screw with Bundesliga. Yeah. There's a clear-cut article out on Kill Now. It's very sad to read, and yeah. Why do we get news from unknown players from I-League and ISF teams getting off from board? Edmund Vijay now, Nathan Rainer Foot India on Twitter tweeted. I don't know. As I said. And yeah. So that's the thing. But I-League was doing decently before ISF came about, wasn't it? Why can't the existing clubs continue on in I-League? The Kolkata Gone clubs, Minerva, Bangalore clubs in Northeast can continue. Who says the I-League was doing decently? Rohit. That's the I-League was in the situation that the ISL has been in the last few years in regard to money overspending. On its level, the I-League, I said this to someone, it started with the NFL in 1996. If you look at it, so therefore for me, again, my question to you would be, you mentioned the Kolkata clubs, right? Okay. Now, if the investors pull out, looking at the scenario, let's say Mr. Goenka says and Imami says, this is not for us, thank you very much, we're out of this. Could happen. What happens to the Kolkata clubs in regard to finance? East Bengal, Mohun Bagan will be in the same scenario as Mohammedan Sporting. I don't see BFC staying in this. I think some of you will have read the chaos that is there in Pro Kabaddi, because Star has told them the same thing as what Star has told Reliance in regard to Indian football, that they are now going to cut down on costs, and again, they're going to look at what is value to them, right? So therefore, I don't see those clubs doing this. Goan clubs. Who do we have? If FC Goa pulls the plug, you have Dempo, Sporting Goa maybe want to come up, but Sporting Goa doesn't have the finances. Peter Vaz no longer is there. The Churchill brothers, do we know how they funded the last season would be my question. So the clubs and the northeastern clubs are small. I think, someone like a Chanmari is thinking, oh my God, why did I this year get involved in the I-League? Right? Work my way up the system. Chanmari, for them, most probably is to play locally is better than, to play at a national level. So for me, the I-League existence that you talk about, I'm not even sure what, let's say, Gokulam Kerala or a Sringeri Deccan will do. Will they fight it out for the title, or will they also say, oh my God, look at this scenario, maybe we cut down our costs or we shut shop? That's the danger. My suggestion is scrap AIFF within constitution, give AIFF to whole Indian football for social profit things within the system. Giron Rare, that is a non-starter of a suggestion, because the country's football around the world is run by the National Sporting Association or Federation. So that's a non-starter. FSTL will never run the whole of Indian football. FSTL might run the whole commercial side of Indian football and might want to run the ISL. They don't even want to run the I-League. That the AIFF, I think, I don't know how many times over the last few years has gone to them and said, please, why don't you run the I-League with the ISL? They're not interested. If you look at this season of the I-League and how badly it was organized, how people have tried to manipulate that league, who would be interested to run that league? Which private party would be interested to run the I-League? I said to friends in the last few days, I said, just Google, Indian football. Google ISL, Google I League. Where will you find good articles on Indian football? If someone tomorrow says, you know what, I'm a new investor, I want to come to Indian football, I'm interested to invest in Indian football. If that person does his due diligence, he will run far away to the other side. That's the reality. I believe so. The future of Indian football is at stake, hence that the new government should review the contract before signing the MRA. They should do anything in a rush. Yeah, but the question is, to me, Tradewala, what are our options? The AIFF has maneuvered itself, yeah. So, yeah. Your thoughts on the new sports bill? The new sports bill since 2011, they've been talking about it. The new sports bill also clashes with the IOC International Charter, the same thing as with the AIFF with FIFA. So it's a non-starter. But again, will someone at some stage tell the government? The government wants control. Listen, the problem is, from an understanding, is that a national sports federation or the IOA, the Indian Olympic Association, needs to be somewhat independent of control of the government. And the Indian government wants full control. Very simple, right? They talk about hosting Olympics and they're not even fulfilling the basic criteria. So what are we talking about? That is the problem. And now, as I said, Bundesliga clubs in Germany meet every year to discuss how to improve and goals. As the clubs, did they meet every year to discuss the situation of the year? Kumar, the Bundesliga clubs don't meet every year. They meet physically once every quarter, and at least once a month they have an online meeting. So they are regularly meeting, and they are meeting at different levels. It's not just that the clubs meet, the clubs finance guys meet, the technical departments meet, the people who are running stadiums and infrastructure meet. There are different levels of people meeting. The ISL, there's no meeting happening. The ISL clubs, the so-called ISL clubs, there has been no proper formal meeting physical meeting since 2014. And I was part of that meeting. Everybody was happy that the system was running. Nobody's asking questions. Everybody was happy to lose money. They say something in public, and a lot of people believe what has been done, you know. And yeah, this is the insanity of our system at this moment in time. Read an article today that this new geo establishment is trying to restructure every sport they've invested in. Apparently, even pro kabaddi in losses. Quite surprising. No, it's not surprising, Rishabh. Haven't I been saying that pro kabaddi has been selling a dream? I don't know if you were part of those conversations. I said multiple times, pro kabaddi is not a success commercially, because like any other Indian sport, the cost of organizing a league is too high, because generally sports persons in India are overpaid. Huge problem. But if you cannot recoup the money, how are you going to do it? Yep. These unknown players are getting offers from abroad. Clubs around the world are signing obscure players, but no news from mainstream players in ISL. Cannot be legit. See, Kabirnath and Bijay Nathan, I think, are three different stories. Kabirnath went at a young age to Spain to play, and then took his opportunity and is now playing in Andorra. Bijay Chetri went through his agent, who has good contacts in South America, and he offered them a few players. Nathan, I don't know what the whole story is. So therefore, I'm not getting excited. Right? If the players are successful, I'll be very, very happy for the players. But I'm not seeing a success story. Look at how so many Indians are actually playing abroad. How many have been really successful and have gone on to play top level? None. Right? Is it true that the new draft will halt relegation ISL for next 10 years? Supposedly it does. I've not seen it. So therefore, I can't judge it. If I don't, again, people are saying, someone has said, and again, this is how Indian football or in Indian journalism this works. One person does the story. One. And then everybody else seemed to pick up. Sorry. So remember when there was supposedly this group of people in the AIFF Expo who are trying to take Kalyan down. There was one speculative article about it. And then the second came up, third came up, fourth came up. There's never been a thing. Uh, so that's the reality. The hockey league, I remember, was very interesting to me without the glamour like I and someone else had, but it didn't survive, right? Correct. Yeah, Rushabh, the hockey league has failed twice. This is now Hockey India is hosting or hosted its third avatar of a league. And supposedly hockey is a national sport, but it's happening either in Odisha or Jharkhand. So therefore, that's a reality. It's just commercially, no sport can survive in other cricket. Yes, because the numbers don't add up. The only thing I can feel is that these obscure unknown players have very good agents that even without performing on top level, are able to move abroad, or are they just different from others? Bijay Chetri's agent, yes, but again, Bijay Chetri's agent is now living in South America, so he has some access over there. But otherwise, yeah, you never know what the backhand deal is. You know, of course, we're not going to get offers from top 6 European leagues: Romania, Albania, Cyprus, other areas we can go. No, we can't. Do you think our players are good enough to play in Romania, Albania, and Cyprus? Then you don't know the standard of Romania, Albania, and Cyprus, especially with the players who are going or supposedly going. Assuming ISL fails to start next season, where will our players go? Where will they play in lower leagues or will they try outside India? Pranjal, this is what I'm saying. We don't even know what league will be held, right? The ISL clubs have now gone to the Duran committee and told them, guys, we're not going to play next month, right? So it is more and more teams. I've heard now that 8 teams are postponing their pre-season, and the rest who've got something on the other set for some stage July are also thinking about it. I doubt even with new structure, ISL would stop making losses. Any sane person knows these players are overpaid. All they have to do is stop overpaying. All these folks, be it clubs, FSD and AIFF, they're stupid. Rushabh, take FSD and AIFF out of that. It is on the clubs. The overpaying is not the fault of FSD. It's the clubs. And I tell you, I can say, I am paying you, let's say, a same club says, you know what? I will pay salaries up to, let's say, 50 lakhs. Right? One ISL team says, first of all, you'll have the worst squad in the league, on paper at least, maybe something over potential. But you will have to then say, oh, no, what? I have to balance it out. I'm paying him 50 lakhs officially, but maybe I can get him some deals in the background, and maybe I can get him maybe 50 lakhs here, 50 lakhs there, and maybe 20 here, 10 here, and all. Suddenly you are trying to get the players. So therefore, it is the player salary is an issue, but it's also on the clubs to realize that. Listen to my interview with Ravi Pushkar, where Ravi is very, very clear, but Ravi also, without saying it, says, you know what, we are part of this market. And again, he could say tomorrow, listen, FC Goa tomorrow, we pay 25% less. FC Goa will not be able to compete. That's the reality. Enough from tomorrow, our campaign for Women's Asian Cup qualifiers start. Your experience with women's team, the biggest game will be against Thailand, any chance we can beat Thailand. XYZ, I have no expectations. What I've seen in the recent past of the women's team, it's the same issues and problems that we've had with the men's team. I don't know how and why and where this has come from, but we have a quality issue, and therefore Thailand has brought in a lot of origin players. Looks very tough. Let us start the campaign. I think that's my first thing that I've said to a few people. I said, listen, we're lucky we're starting in Mongolia. So Mongolia, Timor-Leste, and then Iraq. I think Iraq could be a first test. And then Thailand is a different level. And let's see how we start, right? So Southeast Asia, monsoon time, let's see how the weather plays a role. By the way, just a few days ago, Thailand have tweeted their roadmap for qualification Women's World Cup. Many Indian football accounts say that Thailand isn't even concerned Asian qualification. Yeah, but XYZ, isn't that the right way ahead? And they've played World Cup, right? So it's not that they've not played a Women's World Cup. So what are your thoughts on crash course? Already plane of Indian football is crashed. It's such a shame of federation think like with crash course we can find striker, can't understand, should cry or laugh. Maybe both. Yeah, you know, and it's. I mean, it's to a level that is not funny anymore. I feel right. We are in a situation where I say it's like it's not funny. Right, 31 plus minutes. Quick reminder to those of you, 35 people watching at this moment. Thank you. If you like the conversation, do leave a like. 10 likes so far only. I think we can do better. Share with others if you think that others should join our conversation. And we're at 2,706 subscribers. Thank you very, very much. If you are not a subscriber, do subscribe. Ask your questions. Be part of our conversations. And yeah, let's, even in these very difficult times, let's talk Indian football. I think it's written on the wall. Indian football is going down. FSL wants to cut losses. AIFF wants money to run even the basic operations. That's the danger, Rushabh. That is the danger that I've been highlighting now for over 12 months. That my fear is that these two worlds are not, they can't meet and join hands together. They're going, above each other, below each other. That's the problem. The sports which it would be very difficult for Kalyan Chau to maintain his presidency. It's also talked about increasing the age limit to 75, which would see return of Professor Patel. Why would Professor Patel return? My simple question. Why? He wants to be a central government minister. This is, we have thrown Professor Patel out in a very, very, in my opinion, embarrassing way. So I don't see him come back. To be honest, I feel like if FSL takes a step back, I-League and another going to affect cause the AIFF. That's what I'm saying here, Andre. If FSL is gone, how is the AIFF going to run its system? Simple question. By the way, you thought that the rugby league has been launched in India. It's good. I met the GMR people a while back while I was in Delhi, and they explained to me what their plans and ideas are. I've known Rahul Bose also for a while. Huge respect. I hope it works out. Again, they're doing it, but again, it is rugby and it's not football. It is not cricket. That is going to be the challenge that they have, right? That can they get the league to succeed? They're very realistic with their ticket pricing, streaming not only India, around the world. They want this to be a global league. I'm not sure how far rugby can reach, but I wish them all the best, to be very honest. I've been existing in football dream of having one of the best teams in Asia will be a dream, it looks. Satyam, I've been telling you this, no? Whenever you said, oh, things are good, why am I being so critical, this and that, everything. Sorry, Satyam, I live in reality and a lot of people don't, right? We have to be honest to ourselves if we want to improve. If we, uh, so that's the reality. I'll be honest, I played in Reliance College tournament in Mumbai. It was so professionally organized. I mean, just the basics. Yeah. Meanwhile, in university matches, we don't even have offsides as one referee does all the job from paperwork to checking in on players. It's hilarious. Rushabh, should I tell you something? That what you explain is at university level is the reality at lower level of football in Europe. If you go in Germany, it's the 7th division downwards. You have one referee and he takes care of all the things that you're talking about. So some of the things which you find hilarious, in an Indian context, we are paying the whole bloody system, and people who should be part-timers or actually be doing things honorary are getting paid. Right? That is your problem. Even at big entities, your under 9s, your under 11 coaches, maybe even your under 13 coaches are not professionals. They do coaching on the sides Referees at lower levels are part-timers, which in any context cannot and will not happen. How could Pro Kabaddi is in loss and the players are getting only lakhs? I think provided good viewing and sponsors. No, don't. Chetan, I think it's very nice to say of you, but that's not the reality. I've said this for a while. It's been over-glossing the realities of Pro Kabaddi. Pro Kabaddi has been losing money, not at the level of ISL clubs, but it's been losing money in crores. Because the players that you're seeing getting in lakhs, those players used to get a lakh when it started. I remember 2014, I was watching the, in NSCB, the trials of the Pro Kabaddi before it started. And at that time, it was, they were earning 1 or 2 lakhs. Now they're earning much more. And the money, where is the sponsors? So what are we talking about? FSL proposals 60% clubs, 26% FSN, 14% AIFF, but AIFF is unwilling to share profit loss, they say. XYZ, there is a reason why AIFF cannot share profit loss, because AIFF is a society. AIFF cannot share loss. I feel not many OCI parents encourage their kids to take up sports seriously. At the most, they will use it to gather points, weightage for college admission. Still, they come in the first matches. Uchit, you're talking about the US. I think the situation, I would think in Europe would be a little different. I think that kids are encouraged to do, so therefore that is the thing. But yes, Indian parents and sports is not their priority. Mizoram FA gave numbers from ISL to I League 2 players last season. 180 from one came from Mizoram. Yeah, I saw that stat. Quite impressive, actually, to say the least. And sort of 1 in 7, 1 in 8 player is actually a Mizo in the system. Imagine you're the president of the All India Football Federation. What short-term and long-term approaches would you take to help Indian football grow? What would you do to achieve results within 1 and 3 years at the senior level? And how would you ensure that our youth teams, both boys and girls, can compete professionally with other teams to win 10, 15 years? Goku, it's a very theoretical point. First of all, I will not be the AIFF president, right? So let's get that out of the way. Second, national team approach is going to be very, very difficult. It's the first point is to look at who are our coaches, right? First point, who's my head coach national team? Who's my head coach women's national team, under 23, under 20s, under 70s? First thing, how is my national team department structured? And I would not have a success roadmap for 1 to 5 to 10 years, and because my first thing is, if you are in the AIFF, you would have to take stock of what you have in India before even thinking about national team and what are we doing, what are we not doing. We have to understand of where we are at this moment in time, right? So I think first job of whoever comes in my opinion, would be to realize of what we have in Indian football. What is the state? Therefore I say have a president who overviews the things and steps in whenever is needed. And then you have a secretary who ensures that the office of the AIFF is running. And then on top of that, you have a CEO who's like, I'm traveling around, understanding what is there, what is the shortcomings of the state associations, of the top level clubs, interact with whatever is possible in the system. So that's the thing. I really think I-League was stable before ISL came. Reliance should have started a club and would spend their 2,500 crores in working football through their newly formed club. Rohit, it's nice that you think that, but that doesn't mean that's true. The I-League was not stable. The I-League started in 2012-13 with the club licensing, right? And that found so many faults within the clubs and their system, and found so many mistakes that, the way you're running it is not going to work. That were in the situation that the question was, can you turn the I-League clubs into the ISL? And the clubs didn't want to, right? They wanted the problems they're creating now in the I-League, they created in those days with the Reliance. Reliance is a marketing and a commercial partner, right? They cannot run an own team in the system. So, sorry, thought process is nice, but totally unrealistic. Another, as a player's level is fifth or sixth division of Germany, why cannot they get paid same level salaries instead of exorbitant across stronger wages? Because Kumar, then they would be semi-pro and they would have to have a job. So this was, look at Auckland City FC, right? They lost 10-0 to Bayern Munich. Then the discussion was, what is the level of Auckland City FC? And then at the end of the day, said, you know what, Auckland City FC most probably is fifth division. Now, if Auckland City is fifth division of German football, that's Oberliga. Then ISL is sixth, seventh, eighth, I don't even know. So that means we're talking about semi-pro, even amateur players. So they don't get salaries. They just get something of the sort, of goodwill. So that's the reality. Why national team do not scout players like Abneet in Bolivia, Aniket in Colombia, Royal in Poland, Ashir Salim in Qatar second? Because Devajyoti, they're not the level of players that India wants and needs. Do you think that these players are actually better than our national team players? Think about that. I guess we're going back to unprofessionally run top division, blankets wrapped around bamboos, used as stretchers. I think I'm going insane. I find it funny. Rushabh, it is very sad, and so therefore, yeah, it is. As I said to Garen a little earlier, right? On one side, it is insane to think about it because on one side you think you should be crying, on the other side you should be laughing, and it's insane. It is insane what the situation, So therefore, that's reality. Can a player pay to train at clubs academy in Europe? I heard Sahal trained 15 lakhs to train in, paid 15 lakhs to train in UAE academy. Utsav, no. You can't go and train in a proper European academy. You have to be talented enough because there is no pay to play model. Sahal trained in the UAE not at an academy. He was training at a Premier League soccer school. That's a pay to play model. So, yeah, that's it. Isn't the selection based on merit? What's up? Mostly it is. But you are putting in names into the mix. Have you seen those guys play? Do you know what the level that they're playing? How much they're playing? It doesn't mean that someone, listen, tomorrow I could say, I could sign for, I don't know, most are still at the lowest level in the Kreisliga. I think Roshan will. I could sign tomorrow in the Kreisliga. And I don't know, I score a few goals and play. Should I then be eligible to play for the Indian national team? Doesn't make sense, right? Even though I don't have an Indian passport, that's a different discussion. But I'm saying you have to know what your standard is. This is not the level. Reliance should have started their club and set the club standard so in terms of development of youth and coaches that it would have raised the standard. Again, Rohit, nice thought, but not in the real world. As per Bajaj's viral clip, having OCRs will cause more expenditure because of hotel and transport, and they will earn crores and go back to their parent club and their money will be lost. Bro, why are you watching it? Why are you, honestly, I know a lot of you want to be informed, know what's happening in Indian football, this and that. Don't give these people oxygen by following, making allegations, this, that, and they care about themselves. They don't care about Indian football. They say this and that. No, they're destroying Indian football, left, right, and center. So let's say your transport costs are high. Yes, your transport costs surely will be higher because you have to fly in, fly out. But the hotel cost remains the same, right? You're not keeping your Indian players in 3-star hotels. They're not staying 5-star. The buses are AC and all that stuff. So all of that doesn't increase. Yes, flight costs will increase. But the point is, you can also generate more revenue, right? So that's how it should go, in my opinion. But the problem, and look at with Hamza Chaudhary, right? Hamza today posted something on Insta. I was watching that he's now even doing advertising in Bangladesh. The Bangladesh national team got sponsors because of Hamza Chaudhary. So you will attract people once you get OCIs involved. So yeah, actually you will make money. You will not lose money. If anybody is saying that whenever you get OCIs involved, there is no new, um, new sponsors, new interest, new media interest. Those persons don't understand football. Very, very simple. And I say, guys, boycott these people. Do not listen to their rubbish. You know. So therefore, you know, don't, because this is hurting Indian football, and these guys are saying, oh, I'm doing it. No, you're not doing it. Easy way, rebrand ISL, let AIFF run it behind the scenes. They approach all the politicians, all parties to launder their money through football. Win-win for everyone. Yeah, Rishabh. And cross from playing. Bro, because these guys say things for the sake of saying things and nobody's questioning them. Right? These guys are harming our interests. One excellent world-class club can definitely move the needle for the country. Lions aim too high and try to change the whole league system. I appreciate the attempt, but wasn't done properly. Rohit, one world-class club would have never evolved because the club would have been dragged down by the system, and then they would bring us down. So as nice as your approach in theory works, in practicality it doesn't. Watching him saying the state one of us. Blue, that's my sad part now. But anyway, what to say? My nephew loves your videos, although he doesn't have any mobile, but he watches your videos on TV and he's a young player. He loves to listen facts. Thanks, Kiran. I love to hear these kind of stories. Again, we need to grow the community. I think we need to be able to get more people to come and listen and listen to sane stuff in regard to Indian football. Yeah, that's my only thing, what I'm trying to do, and I need your support. We need to grow this community. More people need to watch. Please like things, watch things, and yeah, without your support, it will not happen. I mean, one thing, for example, disappointed, right? I did what I felt was a good interview, you know, um, with Anthony Andrews. Loved the interview. I really enjoyed talking to him, and he's very, at the beginning, of course, we talked very general and East Bengal and Gokulam and this and that, but towards the end, he actually opens up about the issues and problems in women's club football. So do watch those videos, support them, right? Otherwise, whenever I want to do more interviews, but if you guys are not watching or more people are not watching, it's embarrassing also for the people to get them on board and do interviews and then nobody's watching them. I'm watching 6-day women's football here in Germany. Coaches are sideline referees. Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? So Germany, either you have one referee in the middle who does everything, or you ask both the clubs to give you one person to be linesman. These days, I'm officiating in 7-a-side games and Delhi. Good to officiate. Just want to gain more knowledge as an official so I understand things better as a fan. Yeah, good. Do as much as you can to learn. And life is always about learning, right? Most coaches and officials in Kolkata might have some other day job, maybe government job. It's a chicken and egg problem, yeah. But again, are these guys the best people who are running the system? That's yeah. There are no OCI football players in America. Indian kids in America don't play. Who told you that, Rohit? Who has given you that information? There are more footballers of Indian origin in America than actually in Europe, if you want to start with that point. Your reaction to Nathan Lobo, Indian origin player playing in Club World Cup for Auckland City, has been tough against Bayern. It's great for him. Great exposure for the boy. But is Nathan Lobo going to be better than what we have? Most probably, yes. But will he play for India? Hey, Shaggy. Are all the clauses of the new MRA a protected discussion? Looks like all of the information in the public, which will make it different in progress, sad state of affairs. Shaggy, I don't even know if the current MRA, supposedly, which has been leaked, is the MRA. Because I'd read something else, So, yeah. U23 game versus Key is a public overall drab match, and our players find it so difficult to play 3-4 consecutive passes. For most good teams, 21, 22-year-old player would already be a regular at this club and senior national team. Uchud, that's the problem. And I've seen people who celebrated this, and that's the problem. That's the problem of things. And yeah, the question is, how does it progress? How does it work? It's I said it the other day when I did the live. It was, we lost 3-2 and we were leading close to the 90-minute mark. Yeah, so that's the problem. And now you think national team players are the best players we have in India. If this is our best, this is horrible, then our best is true. But yes, they are. Maybe one or two, players might be changed here or there, but otherwise, I mean, if people are thinking that our under 23s are better than the national team, then people know less than I thought they do. Sorry, my allergy today, a little more than usual, but it's hot over there here as well. Mid-30s, not mid-30, but 31. So yeah. In United States, Indian America, parents don't encourage their kids to play football. Most of OCF players have single Indian parents or grandparents, father, mother, and US also college. It's like, okay, I don't know where you get those informations from, Google. Good evening, Zoravar. Of course, he's Zoravar. He's been, again, what is he for? Ask him what is he for. I don't want to what just came in my timeline. Yeah, then your timeline is a problem too. The opportunity Bajaj as usual start to give a podcast and speak on the OCR and MRI matter. It just feels so wrong, yet none could be done anything but yeah. I saw a quote from Samba Bandari, although she got relegated long ago from but she got offers to keep playing in top. Roshan, look at her influence last time when India played against Nepal. Look at the whole stadium in Nepal. Insane. What is worse, a significant group of East Bengal fan base are fully supporting him and also against them. Because for them, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if they're playing ISL or I-League. They think, yeah, it's okay, it's fine, right? We will survive. Yeah. And the problem is, it is to me a problem in general, that it is, East Bengal is in such a wrong path for so long, and I hope they can sort it out. Because this club deserves better. The fans deserve better, but sometimes I feel the fans don't deserve better. Guys, don't entertain Mr. Barry. It's just a contract creator and social with nothing more than that. Who has the knowledge of real history just know how to be on this. Yeah. And create problems for the system. I agree with Arnava completely. This is one of the strong points of OCF players' inclusion. The sponsorship money these OCF players will earn will be more than their salary, which will attract more. I don't think at the start it was that it's about them earning, but I think it's about AIFF and the system which would earn. I want South African OCF players. I promise everyone that they are fine. Aditya, we're not getting anyone at the moment, but I think the Europeans would be better than ours, right? Bajaj, Asika don't give playing time to Indian striker in his own club. He's playing with foreign striker. I'm not against foreign players. He's saying that is the best academy in India, but cannot produce a single striker from his own club. Goku, it's easy to blame others and not introspect. And I've said this about a lot of people, right? Criticize yourself first before you criticize others. Very simple. We all are in this boat together. Yeah. And yeah, that's the reality. By the way, the match yesterday was so poor that I regret watching it on YouTube. So now I was luckily at a wedding, so I didn't have to watch the under 23s and years, but I've watched some of the highlights. And I saw the other day against against Tajikistan, and it was not good. If OCI has come, Minerva boys will not get picked for national team. That's his worry. Rohit, how many Minerva boys has he produced in the last 2-3 years? Simple thing. Hey, Shaggy. Thanks for bringing in Coach Anthony Andrews. Started considering some folks here in Bangalore for this. Thanks, Shaggy. I need your Roshan. You guys need to support it. I told Akshata the same, that more people watch it. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to convince these people to come for an interview. And then, just see the comparison of Anthony's interview and compared to Ravi's, right? So therefore, I need your support. You guys need to help me push it. That it makes sense also to get more people to come and talk. Yeah, Anthony Andrews opened up about Indian women's football without making blame game. That's underrated skill in Indian football. Very well said, Roshan. Very well said, because that's one of those realities, that despite his young age, I know he gets angry when one says it. Let's see. Bhuta and Kalyan Saga is a perfect example. None of them so care about our football, and people blindly back both parties. Sad to see this. XYZ regarding Aditya comment on player who are pure OPL can kind of Indian ancestry. Would they even make it to Indian national team? If they're good enough, or is it just OCI card? XYZ, if we have Indian ancestry, we need to give them OCI cards, and that way make them eligible to play for us now. Yeah. Coaches being referees will only work in countries where there is great sportsmanship. That wouldn't work in India. Yeah. But it shows you the weaknesses of the system, right? We have to pay for everything. And the other parts of the world, you don't. I watched 20 minutes of the match yesterday and could easily say that Kyrgyzstan were technically better. Their passing was miles ahead of India. So that's the same case of Tajikistan. And Tajikistan had a very bad day against us. The game was fast to win, but we were not competent and capable enough. Every corner, every free kick was a danger for our goal. And then just to blame the goalkeeper is too easy, right? Our defensive shape and unit didn't work. Now the thing is in my mind, people do get settled outside India for better opportunities. So why should OCI players choose Indian team when they know situation really worse? State just said with a thought only. Here on rare, why would someone, let's say, also apply to become the Indian head coach? Right? When this whole Manolo Marcus thing started taking uh, uh, um, they don't know what do the Indian footballers who play the national team at this moment. So therefore, for me, the question is a different one. Is the OCI players, if they pick India, they want to play for India. They don't care. What's the state of Indian football? They want to play, right? So therefore, for me, I think this whole conversation is wrong. Because we are trying to figure out what is, what is the right or what's the wrong. So for me, that's the challenge. No. So, yeah. So, yeah. Let's see. Problem with Judge is that also runs in the Canada, someone performs well in youth leagues, probably using H4 and calls himself the savior in football. Who is Anthony Andrews, next women's coach? What is he doing? XYZ, look up the timeline. Very simple. I mean, it can't be too much of an asking of you guys to check up, right? Who Anthony Andrews is. You're not seriously asking that, right? I thought you follow Indian football, right? He's the head coach of East Bengal. Women's team won the IWL. Before that, won the IWL twice with Gokulam Kerala. Watch the interview, right? I was upset about having to be part of this pay and play model at the local level, but I guess I'm going to do it anyway in order to become a good coach one day. Try my best to reach as far as my ability. But that's the Rushabh, you are part of a system where this is normal, right? So therefore, you have to be. If you in our parts of the world, I play football for fun. I just have a club membership in the Gata because you have to be a member of a club to be able to play. Yeah, different world. Sorry. What was that? Oops. Sorry. back again. Mr. Fu, only because if SA expand their wings, then in I League, his club and his colleagues' club shops will get closed. Yeah, that's the danger. So we never ask about nation for fraud and should I donate? Mike, if you're asking me that question after all that we've discussed about this gentleman and his deeds in Indian football, then we have a problem, right? So you decide for yourself. Someone to me, so any hopes of women's Asian qualifier? Shonlata, yeah. Shonlata, I think let us win our first 3 matches, and then let's see what Thailand do, and then if we get a chance to have a final, then let's hope that happens on July 5th. We have to beat Mongolia, we have to beat Timor-Leste, and then we have to beat Iraq. So I feel it is tough. It's a challenge, and looking at our situation, very difficult. I don't follow ISL, I just for national team. The ISL doesn't excite me. You know how operations work there, and now they might shut down. XYZ, we're talking about IWL, and we're talking about some. I thought you would be checking maybe, not just the lives, but maybe watching also the short videos that I'm trying to make on a regular basis to just see, what is happening in Indian football. That's the thing, right? I mean, I follow the national teams, very nice, but you have to understand if you're asking questions, and again, you're following social media, then follow these things, watch these things, because they are very, very good. Always a good chance Thailand will be challenged. Shaggy, let's hope so. I wonder if those overpaid players are scared. It's almost like AI impact has had on software development jobs. I don't think so, Ruksha. Um, I might be wrong, but my understanding at this moment in time, if you would ask me, I don't see them understanding what the situation is, right? If I was a player and looking at the situation, I would have also said this summer, you know what? Don't spend too much on my summer holidays. Save some of the money. If Bajaj do these kind of things in UK or somewhere else, he would be banned for all life from football activities for sure. 100%. Why I'm feeling like others enjoy to play football and Indians played football just trying to impress others. Maybe that is a thing. I don't know, Gogo. We need to apply OCI and PAO. These overpaid, good for nothing players are useless. Or maybe for now we could do or concentrate and give debut to new players in national team. Aditya, where are your new players? I mean, did you watch the under 23s? Right? Where are your new players? We are having a problem, uh, you know. So that's the thing. By the way, does India have any hopes for Asian Cup? I'm up, and I think it's impossible given India's next match against it. So Ravar, it is never over until it's over, as I like to say. So let's keep that little, tiny bit of hope. Let's keep that alive, right? Nothing more, nothing less, but let's keep that hope alive. You can't say that Thailand is the challenge for a team like ours who's performed pathetic most of the times. Every match in qualifiers will be challenged. Yeah, that's the point. However, it's all over for India, says Aditya. My son is part of a pay-to-play model where I am the volunteer coach. Thankfully, the US parents like my way of teaching their kids, but in my area, I've seen very less number of South Asian kids playing soccer. That's an interesting point, Ochut. Let AIFF get a stable broadcaster first to show games. I don't know where we can watch IWL. I know many fans don't know where to watch IWL. They don't do advertising for them too. On XYZ, it is so easy to find what is being broadcast where and how these days. If you're following just the AIFF social media handles, you would know. The AIFF is doing it. You know what my problem with Indian football fans these days is? You want to be mouth-fed. You don't even want to make a little bit of effort and find out what is this. No, it's like everyone, oh, where is the live stream? Where is this? Where is that? Guys, you want on one side India to play World Cup, but you yourself are not going to make the effort. Right? That is also a problem, you know. So I don't know. Honestly, this is, you want something, but then everything should be fed to you. The IWL, how did you not know where it was being broadcast? It was very clearly communicated, and every social media post by the AIFF said where it was being broadcast, right? And you don't even need to follow it. You can follow the highlights on the AIFF YouTube channel and all that. All of that is very easily available, right? We Indians are still Britishized, playing cricket still and calling ourselves world champion on the spot. We're only 7 major teams. Okay, Aditya. We are having a problem where our youth teams are worse than our seniors. Yeah, and that is something which people don't want to recognize and realize. People are telling me, oh, I'm being too critical, this and that, everything. I say, guys, if you like it or not, that's the reality of where we stand. Where our problem is across the board. It's not just, you know, the senior national team. So I don't know. It's a very, very, very tricky scenario in my opinion. No chance. Even the players know it, but always loved official match experience in game. So thoughts on FIFA Club World Cup? Attendance is so poor, plus broadcast is not great as well this time. I don't. Again, I'm watching it on the zone, and the broadcast is brilliant. I don't know where. I mean, and it's the same broadcast. I don't know what the problem is with your broadcast, but mine is perfect. And stadium attendance depends on where it is and at what time. If you watch some of those games with the South Americans, especially, insane. And I saw, yeah, the highlights of the Bayern Boca game. I mean, that had Germany Argentina World Cup vibes. So yes, there have been those things, but again, World Cups, um, a FIFA World Cup, you have the CONCACAF Gold Cup, the North American Confederations tournament going on in parallel, MLS to some extent. There's too much of football going on over there. If it's not new, if we don't qualify for Asia Cup, yeah, that's also true. The question of this: do the best OCS, do they want to play for us? I heard Indian outside India hate it, while some Indians outside India love India more than the natives. It's so confusing. Aditya, it's not about hating or loving India. See, I love India, right? But I'm also critical about India whenever I want to and I need to be. The players want to play. Again, how many times am I going to say this? They want to play. They're open to it. The system has to open up. And playing for a national team is not what an OCI or an NRI says and does about India. We all know how East Bengal women's team won. That's by taking all the shots in the women's team. That's how they did. No, they didn't do that. Again, they got the best players from across. But that's how it works, no? Didn't Odisha do the same thing? We got a group of that anything can happen. If the court situation handled rightly, we might still be in the race. We could have won against Hong Kong. It was a better game than Bangladesh despite all the issues. Rishabh, and that is an interesting part that I say, right? Um, you know, the Hong Kong game was not as bad as we make it, at least in my opinion, right? I still feel that we had opportunities and chances. We didn't utilize them, and that's our fault, you know? And yeah, that's part of our problem, right? Nearly 1 hour, 10 minutes, 1 hour 9 plus already. Just a quick reminder, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, so far 17 likes. I think we can do better, guys. Do share with other people, and subscriptions with 2,706. So slowly. Yeah, so therefore, thanks a lot as always, guys. And the new ones who are watching or listening, do ask your questions. Ranjan has been causing more harm than good. I used to support him, but he has caused more trouble. Manju, yeah. A lot of people have learned the hard way. I did well both divisions are well publicized social media by AIFF. I've watched few of them matches like that. That's what I'm saying, Ocho. Some of you are just being lazy and then always blame. Again, the AIFF can be blamed for a lot of things, but again, the publications of where what is happening, what's being shown by them, that's not a problem. First thing, Singapore is in away from home. I thought the first one was at home, right? Wasn't the first leg at home in October? I think before I say something wrong, let me just quickly check. One second. 10th. Oh no, sorry. 9th October we're playing away, right? 14th we're hosting Singapore. Yeah. So then the next two matches will decide our road, right? Where are we heading? My main fear with Bajaj is that he doesn't repeat what he did last time, lead to FIFA ban. Yeah, we're heading towards that. A casual Indian football fan don't watch. I'm not casual though, but the quality we're getting, who would want make efforts? Plus, our women are passing to Indian players. Look at Uzbekistan game. XYZ, and that's the problem. No, you've just explained to me. You know, you are not casual. You are saying you're not a casual Indian football fan, but you don't know where to watch IWA. So, what are you then? Because you're reading some stuff on social media and then following it and being part of these discussions, you are what? A full-time Indian football fan? Or what is this? You know, um, it is so easy to follow it. You don't. Again, I'm not saying that you need to follow it, but if you don't know who Anthony Andrews is, very successful young Indian coach in the women's game, then to me that's a problem, right? So again, listen to the interview. It's again, I don't want to be gone blabbering on and on about it, but I think it's an interview which is worth listening and understanding a lot of things that are happening in women's football. So do watch it. That's my only advice. Hi, Dark Knight is in not in players who play CFL Goal League. Most probably. He's trying to make sure people forget that due to him, India for a FIFA ban. Yeah, but Club World Cup attendance is not poor. Average is 32,000. Yes, few games had poor turnout, but those were played on weekday after, while most US domestic sports tournaments are played after 6 p.m. It is a weekday. That's a problem, right? Because you're trying to cater also for fans in Europe. So therefore, that is something which has to be remembered. Right. Even if someone will allow, they also have players who wanted to filter out from this players to find starting level. Goku, you have to get the players to come in and then let them train. Let the coach then decide who fits into the Indian system and maybe who doesn't. That is the challenge for the coach. No, that is what we need. I love Club World Cup. The fraud AIFF bums are getting their level showed by Brazilians popular closure of Champions League. Aditya, this is typical, you know, street speak because why? Why the latter stages decide, right? Also in the World Cup, we always say, oh, in the group stages, this is a surprise, that is a surprise. The interesting part is who's going to be in the final eight, who's going to be in the semis, and who's going to win it, right? And let's wait and see. You have to also recognize that the South American teams are in full swing and the Europeans are coming off a very long and grueling season. What is the disagreement between FS and AIFF for not extending ISL? The form of the structure of the league and how money and will be paid. Right? Rohit, we had a simple thing. AIFF used to get 50 crores, no questions asked. Reliance runs ISL. Simple. Now, Reliance is saying we will change the body and um, we'll have uh, a body which is going to be owned 60% by the clubs, 26% by FSDL, 14% by AIFF. And if there's any profits, they will get it from the profits. By the way, according to latest reports, AIFF isn't ready to accept anything below 50 crore per annum from us, saying that they won't be able to operate with them. So, which is understandable. But FSDL is, right on their part as well in asking questions that, hey, how can you and will you run with it? Right? If ISL shuts down, let's see who pays these players inflated salary. Very, very right, Aryan. Why? But it feels like Indian players could never match the quality of European top league players. No, they can't. At the moment, we can't. Come on. Forget top level. I will have problems of seeing Indians playing fourth, fifth tier these days. That is how low our standards is gone. Fans make all the efforts. Fans fill the stadium. National team goes on to lose to Afghanistan, Hong Kong, and plays like headless and then win stuff and cry they don't support us. XYZ, how many times have I tried to explain to this? The job of a fan should not be to expect something from the team, a national team. You support or club. You support them in success and failures. And this is a problem in our Indian football fan base. You want to be successful, and then you only support success. I see that with a lot of even friends of mine. I see with a lot of friends of mine are saying, "Oh, you know what? We've this and this." No. When you support a national team, you support them through thick and thin. And when Sunil did that video, it wasn't even about SAF, it was about the Intercontinental Cup. And, you know, that's the thing. It's not a feeling, it's a reality. Maybe for you, Aditya. Again, and you, another one, sorry, I'll be blunt to you guys. You guys watch a little bit here and there, you read a lot of stuff, and then you know how the world works and how the football works. Then, sorry, then difficult. What is the amount of money FS has spent to conduct one season of ISL, example 24? Deepak, I think it's not public domain information. I mean, I do know certain figures. That's why I'm not going to put it out. Sorry. So hypothetically, if Reliance pay 40, 50 crore, will you have to agree to MRA? Dark Knight, they're not paying them 40, 50 crore. This is not, at the moment, that's not even happening. South Americans play more than 70 games and Europeans not even play more than 65 yet ask for rest shows reality. I think some top tier players won't even break out in the youth system of Brazil. See, and this is the Brazilians will not even be able to cope with our system of youth football. Yeah. Aditya, it's nice that you read up and you think you know and all that stuff, but theoretical knowledge is never above practical knowledge to me. Right? You know? And look at that the Brazilians are playing their local league. It's like old days, East Bengal, Mohun Bagan playing CFL and then playing I-League. Is the level of the CFL comparable to that of the National League? Right? And so, no. Ashish Niga was suggesting bringing back yearly auction drafts in ISL like before to counter exorbitant salary demands. So rather you can't do it now because then you'll have the players' body coming in and salaries and all. Again, a lot of people have a lot of nice ideas, but those realities don't work. And auctions, I've sat through one. It's a terrible thing. For me, again, I was so deep in it. I didn't sleep for a whole week, right? Because then what's the point of having long-term contracts? And my problem is if I offer someone a 5-year contract and say, listen, I'm giving you 2 crores or 3 crores or whatever. And then you say, no, it's an auction. Oh, max is going to be 70 lakhs. Which players are going to go into the auction? We need to find ways. The clubs need to come together and find a way to reduce salaries. And they will not do it. I can tell you that at this moment in time. Copa Libertadores is insane. There will be no matches without 5 Brazilian clubs, Uruguay and Argentina, Colombia, Ecuador, Chile, Peru club matches are insane, different vibe in open football. Yeah, but is it better? Is the quality better? No, I wouldn't say that. Right? The insane atmosphere and these fights, that is not what I want to see. If AIFF agrees to the 14% profit sharing, the AIFF will get zero money from ISL. Maybe, maybe not. How do you know? I feel a revamp from the core is what we need. Hope for the best. Yeah, but there are people working to get to a situation where they do a revamp and then make matters actually worse. The question is now, are the Indian players in AIFF taking the football fans for granted, or doesn't matter whether we lose? Anyways, the standards we will be filled. We can see the full house. Where is the full house? Where do you see full house? Did we have full house in Shillong? Did we have full house in the last few matches? Where do you see that? See the support for our women's team. Look at the support that Nepal gave their women's team. Look at how the Bangladeshi fans are supporting their team. Right? Your points about AIFF and footballers taking fans' potential for granted, yeah, you have a valid point. But the fans are also taking stuff for granted. No, you as a fan are taking stuff for granted, but the other side can't take it for granted. What are we talking about? Right? Actually, as a fan, what can you demand? That the players play with passion, pride, and fighting grit and whatever. Quality is the next step. We don't have quality. Right? The best El Clasico in the world, Boca Juniors versus River Plate and Flamengo, Botafogo and Palmeiras. See, and to me, in the old days, sadly doesn't exist at the moment, I would put anyway Dortmund against Schalke. Right? Because you're so focused on that part, right? Look at other games across Europe. Go maybe even to an Indonesian derby. More fierce, might not be quality of the South American ones. An Indonesian derby, a Malaysian derby, a Thailand derby. So, yeah. If fans stop supporting the team, it's over today. Only whatever is going on ventilator box to stop. It's time to unite and ask proper questions. See, the team will play this way or that way. The team has always played. If the people are coming or not coming. So that's another point that I say is if I or you others like it, let's see. X says the South American clubs are good. They're not that good. Some days they will beat European teams. Yeah, exactly. And again, Botafogo beating PSG has to blame themselves, right? Chelsea have to blame themselves. This is not because they were better, right? How do Cape ballers earn huge money rather than how to use it in Indian football favor? And because that's local money, local guys don't even know how. Don't ask how the money is getting into the system and going. That is not money which will come in. It's like the same discussion. People saying, oh, the money that Argentina, if they come to India to play, that money is being lost in the Indian system. No, that's money that's never going to be coming to the Indian football system. So don't think about it that way. If AIFF agrees to profit-sharing model, will ISL take over the youth development for the country? No, they won't. That's on the AIFF. That is not part of the agreement. South America is used to playing hundreds of matches at youth level. Here are youngsters only play a month of youth football properly. No wonders are players like stamina. Yeah. And I was reading something, someone was telling me that the South Americans are better used to those weather conditions. You saw yesterday Borussia Dortmund against Mamelodi Sundowns, they won 4-3, but they're struggling with the weather. Right? What about Sunil Chetri being the icon of Indian football? Why isn't he raising a voice? Zoravar, he's raised his voice in the past. What can Sunil do? Do you think that if Sunil makes a public statement today or tomorrow that, they've had no players coming out and excusing their performances, and they're just getting hit. Why hating UEFA? Europe has professionalism, better sports science, more sportsman. Dark Knights, it's fun to hate. Some people just like to just hate for the sake of hating things and don't want to really, is the profit sharing model present in other countries? Yes, Rohit. That's how you profit sharing profit sharing. If ever once earned 50 crore by 14%, I say profit share. For footwear, 20 in one season, I don't know how it's possible. Yeah, but Reliance has lost a lot of money. They've just given the AIFF money. The AIFF has not done the right things. If you look at the last 3 years, or last close to 3 years, they've not managed the money properly, right? If Kushal Das, if Sunando, and if Prabhu Patel were there, most probably the old model would have continued with a top on of the new model. Because they know that those 50 crores were being spent on the development of Indian football and the structure and organization of Indian football. Now you don't know where is the money going. Bangladeshi fans supporting their women's team on they literally have an like Islamist wing who doesn't let women football grow, even destroyed stadiums, protesting women's rights. We're better. Aditya, we're not better. What the hell? We've been losing against Bangladesh at all levels in the women's game. I love the way that that you are confident on these things, but know your facts. So, what pride is it there to turn up every match and see a national team perform worse than last time? Teams which we were beating 4-0 and now losing 1-0. You talk about passion. Do you see that? XYZ again. Wrong approach. Wrong approach. But again, you want to. Some of you just want to continue arguing and don't accept a point. I don't go and support a national team for winning. I support my national team because it is my national team. Why don't you get this into your head, guys? And we're not the best supporters in the world, right? Because why? You're like those glory hunters they talk about, no? Man United fans or former Man United fans. You need to support your team more, club or country, when they lose. Indian football lacks that fan culture. Why do less fans come when their teams lose? Because we don't have that fan culture. Here in Germany or in Spain or in England or those South American countries you're mentioning, when their teams lose, they will still turn up. Right? You guys need to learn that. And these are topics we've now discussed multiple times and you don't want to accept it. Then it is difficult. Then I don't want to be the preacher or the headmaster or whatever to try a lecture or whatever. But I'm forced into this situation because you people don't want to understand the basics of what is being a football fan. You demand something as a football fan. No football fan has the right to demand something. No fan of any sport. You know? So this is what you need to learn. Fans saying I-League will be top division after AIFF shut down, then where will AIFF bring money for I-League if they don't? Manolo, I spoke to this early on this live, and I explained to people that if we don't have the 50 crores coming in, you don't have an I-League, I-League 2, I-League 3, I-League, IWL and IWL2. Ganai named Tanay Apte put out a tweet comparing OCI players from Indian players and said the Indian players are almost same as OCI players. Hannibal, it shows you how sports science numbers, transfer marked value numbers are utterly useless. Right? I have a lot of respect for Tanay, but it's a joke of a comparison. You're comparing your stats of an I-League player with a player who's playing, let's say, in England or in the US or in Canada or whatever. It shows you the ignorance of these people. And they are saying, oh, we're fighting for Indian football. Sorry, with all due respect, this is BS to the core. Welcome to Indian football. Right? I'm so fed up with AIFF for them. Even we could let private entity like us take over. What worse could happen? At least corruption would be less. BCCI is also privatism. No, BCCI is not private. AIFF is not private either. These are, it won't happen. Right? Continuation. In our players in Indonesia, other countries, they see future football for their countries, and I'm honest to see future football in India. It's all that. XYZ, you just mentioned Indonesia. Indonesia was in its darkest phase over the last 3-4 decades, and they still supported their team. The Malaysians were much worse than us a few years ago. Right? So what? Why am I still here? I would, at this time on a Sunday, it's 7:44. What I would do, I would sit in the garden. It is 30 degrees outside, a little bit of sunshine. I would enjoy something cool. Mom may put the barbecue on. At 9 o'clock, I've got Germany versus Italy in the under 21 Euros to bother about. I'm there. I don't need to support Indian football. I've got Germany to support. If your logic works, people like me wouldn't be here. Football culture, fan culture, is to support, especially in failure. I've said this X number of times, also to you, XYZ. But you don't want to understand that. You argue every time the same thing. Some of you guys argue the same thing again and again. And I give you the opportunity to ask those questions and I'll try to answer it. But it is, if you don't want to understand it, what I'm talking, sorry, with all respect, then I'm talking to a wall. Right? And I know that I care more about Indian football than most people in the world. People like me, like idiots like me do. Yes. And I've tried to do changes. You guys give gyan. I don't give gyan. I do take action. Has it worked to some extent over the years? It has, but it's not worked the way that I would like to. Because also, I know I would, if I go into that system, I would go crazy. I come in and go out. Best thing to do. 6 ISL clubs have withdrawn from Duran Cup. Zoravar, even more will be. Yeah. Some guys are really saying American club will win Club World Cup. No, it might happen. Who knows? But that doesn't mean South American football is better. You have a record that in the old Intercontinental Cup, 22 out of 43 times were won by South Americans, 21 only the Europeans. That doesn't mean that South American football is better than European football. Right? Under Kalyan regime, AIFF has got 150 crores almost for 3 seasons. Where has the money gone? Manolo, ask the question. Not only that, where's the FIFA money gone? Where's the AFC money gone? Where is the FD that Kushal Das had left behind? Where is that money gone? Right? We're talking of more than 50 crores. Do you think the structure FSDL is trying to bring it in is going to be a good one in the long run? Angry Birds, I think it's a good one, yes. But for that to work, we need television rights. And I think Reliance is looking at ways to potentially raise, because it's them, right? They are spending the money. So they're willing most probably to commit a certain amount of money, a 4-digit crore figure in television rights to ensure that something like that can happen. What's your opinion of FIFA Cup? It's good or bad? It's good, Zoravar. It's the first edition. It is a first edition and it needs time. Look at the UEFA Nations League. Here in Germany, people used to laugh about it. Now people love it. So these are the realities of things. I'm starting to realize how blind people are to women's football together. Yes, Shaggy. Yes. Very, very right. I can give you an example. When my local club conducted 7th floodlight tournament, a team player earned in a single match 6,000. For foreigners, like I know a Senegal player called Mac earns about 13,000. Yeah. Don't ask where the money is coming from and where the money is going through. Maybe with Emirates, we might see multiple years of no national league. No, it might be possible. And then we might have a new constitution. We might get a FIFA ban. Yeah. Thousands in a single match. I think Cape football is what happens. Yeah. Looks like people here come from a crash course and then try to become teachers. Yeah, Shaggy. Following social media, this is my advice, like take it from an elderly brother or maybe fatherly figure, I don't know, depending on your age. If you follow stuff on social media, you read stuff, you watch all of this, it doesn't mean that you understand things there. And I say that I said that yesterday at a friend's wedding to some guys who actually are active in football. I said, doesn't mean you understand how the great football world. A friend of ours was a referee. He said, oh, you complained about me. And I said, I told you, you did this mistake. Doesn't mean you understand how the big world works, right? You're refereeing at amateur level. So these are the realities. If you like it or not, that's the thing. Indians are glory hunters, will follow only success, not losers, be it in sports, be it in education. You can't change something that is ingrained in the mindset of the population. So that's our biggest problem. Great one says Blue. He again tweeted defending his tweet today. Anybody what to say? Nothing to add. My club East Bengal hasn't won the league for the last 20 years, but I follow them daily, even when I'm miles away. When I'm in town, I must visit the club tent. Doesn't matter what the performance is. Same goes for national team. Exactly, Ochu. You know, and I know from you that you know and you understand how it is, and you've seen. Yeah. I've seen OCI citizens care more about Indian football than Indian people themselves. Thanks, Manoj. There seems to be a group consisting of these X-handlers, YouTubers, and of course the so-called savior. Yes, it is. They're creating problems. Bajaj bragging about the new constitution, which seems to me a very good constitution, as someone made it himself in one of the podcasts. Okay. To be fair, Tana Abed did also mention in his Twitter thread that his comparison of Ocean Indian is not the whole as answer, but I fear it's already misused. Roshan, the way he sold it is then his mistake. You can't downwear say, oh, this is there is no comparison of those players. To make someone to come up to think that you can make a comparison of those players is very wrong. So what to say, right? That's the problem, no? So why new leagues are launching in every sport? I mean, is it good or is it losses are there? Then why HL Rugby League? Also, I support national team because it wears India badge. I don't care about other national teams. Chetan, every sport thinks that they need to have a league, but it's not even a league. I try to explain to them. Um, it is a problem. And why? Because you are calling 3-4 week competitions, or even let's say rugby is 15 days. Rugby sevens is a different one because it's not rugby in the sense of that it's a full-time league system. We need leagues which are running. The only leagues actually who have been running over the last few years are the ISL and the ILF. Everything else are tournaments. That is the problem, and you're spending too much. What you are saying is true. I have been supporting Indian football from 2007, and now from the lows and ups. Manju, we've had a lot of lows and highs. Few highs, but a lot of lows. So therefore, I thought it was your wedding. Roshan, no, not my wedding. Friend's wedding. European youth system is far ahead of any other region of Earth. I haven't seen multiple videos of youth in Vasa kids. They are insane. Probably in future, every national team also will have to play OCI. I wish most teams are playing OCIs around the world. Yeah. So therefore, yeah, it's a reality. One of the initially clubs in Germany during the inception, they would not have this world-class stadium facilities and football culture, how they built all this professional culture over years. But from these, how can IS and all leagues learn from the history of German clubs? Come on, very simply. Time. Organic growth. You will not have organic growth. The US hasn't had organic growth. The J League, the K League, you'll talk big leagues in Asia, they've not had organic growth because they pushed the league, right? And the stadiums have been knocked down multiple times. Again, let's say Borussia Dortmund, the stadium was built for the 74 World Cup. That was not good enough. Changed, rebuilt. Now it's what it is. So therefore, Bayern Munich built a new stadium for 2006. Others have as well. So therefore, this is a constant development. Hope you watch the women playing tomorrow against Mongolia. Yes, Shaggy, I will be watching it. But my father has a doctor's appointment, so I won't be able to do a live. But I will be watching it and hope, that in the coming games I'll be able to do a live. The whole concept of supporting when we achieve something big is very stupid and selfish. Our players and teams who are performing good in some sports also don't receive much love. Listen, how many people really care about Neeraj Chopra and javelin? If Neeraj Chopra was finishing over second, nobody would care. By the way, the Savior started appearing on a new channel in the last few weeks, and as usual, blame ISF for destroying any football. He should ask himself. I know now I saw the stuff we compared, and sadly, some skills in your football is lacking are not tracked, like game management, game intelligence, and so on. Roshan, this is a theoretical discussion. Example, a basketball team or hockey team. Yes, Chetan, example. FSC investment in women's leagues, none. Deepak, they focus on the men's game. Tanay Apte gave Ranjit Bajaj follows a big push to oppose OCI, and wasn't Ranjit Bajaj helping OCI guy get passport? He never wanted to help that. So I think after watching this Club World Cup, more South American football should be broadcasted in all the European leagues. I can't see the light of opening football, just don't know how to follow in football anymore. See, Prasanjit, they could broadcast, but there needs to be an interest in it, no? Right? And we have to fight on. After every bloody national team match, I swear not to watch the next match, but don't know what happens. Again, I buy a 25 Indian rupee fan code match pass, knowing what's going to come. Can't help. Yeah, Moino, that is called being a football fan. You've just explained it in a perfect way. Our hockey team, after Olympic glory, played against Germany in Delhi. The stadium was given 41 tickets for free. I heard the tickets were free still. Yeah, Chetan, there is Indian football, with all its failures, actually has more following than most other sports. That's also reality. Neil Super Diamond League throw is not even broadcast on TV. Yes, I say we upload a video with a YouTuber called. Again, Zoravar, as I've said, don't follow. Don't give them views. Don't give them oxygen. Don't give them, Twitter interactions. I said to people, ignore. They will hate it when you ignore. Be on platforms who are being honest, who are trying to really do something for Indian football. There are a lot of people who are trying to do that, right? Tomorrow, for example, I'm doing a show. I'm bringing on Hiren and Musa Bhai. So I'll bring those two on my channel, and we three, a little later than usual, 10:30 p.m. is the time that I'm looking at to do that with those guys. And we will talk Indian football, right? And therefore, support us. Support the channel. Support, again, Hiren. Support Musa. There are others as well who are trying to support Kilnao and Ashish. Don't follow the people who are telling us wrong things. I found some people who are rejoiced about ISL being shut down. According to them, a complete revamp will have. I guess they don't get how much loss will happen for lost time. Yeah. 10:30 p.m. Indian time, Roshan. I'm always, when I'm talking IST, I'm not talking about CST. Yeah, bro, very right. It's a disturbing fact, and I honestly don't know how we can push it in the right direction, but these are realities, right? So therefore, for me, things need to change. Things will have to change, but not the way that these people want it, because these people have not taken us really forward. That's my sad assumption of things. So yeah, that's the reality, right? 1 hour 43 minutes. Those of you who are watching, if you're liking the conversation, do leave a like behind. 20 likes so far today. Thanks a lot. 21 now. Thank you. And share with other people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Watch the videos, the short videos. Did a lot in the last few days. As I said, Shaggy, as you said also, do watch the Anthony Andrews interview. I liked it. Even the Ravi Pushkar, again, more than 1,300 views already. Thanks a lot. Most watched interview in the last few weeks. Watch my take on what Baichung said on the Kalyan AIFF. I did something on the future of the ISL, did something earlier, death of ISL, clubs, and all that stuff. Gas. Oh, so much of, oh God, it's, I would like to do stuff which are positive, but very, very difficult. The ISL club should learn from German clubs why they won't do professional diets for professional training for the club's employments in the club. Kumar, we've had that in the past. Nothing ever happened because the Indian side never really understood how to use it and value it. Do you think the East Zone is more easier in AFC Champions League than West, considering a symbol could reach final ACL to that less money than ISL clubs? No, you have to be lucky. They would have never reached the final if Safran Hiroshima didn't do the substitution mistake and lost that match 0-3. Would like to watch interview with Punjab. Raj, I'm trying to do some more interviews, especially for Kumar, Info, No Pan League. I'm going to get the gentleman who's the mastermind behind it on an interview very soon. So I'm trying to do some stuff. So do you think Reliance is still interested or not? I would hope they are, but they must be very to Blue. There are people within Reliance who say, yeah, we want to continue, and there are certain people who are saying, thank you very much, Tata, bye bye, as in everything else. But Indian football needs to learn a few things, and we need to change things. Otherwise, we're in deep, deep trouble. Right. Thanks a lot for this Sunday live. Tomorrow evening, as said, I'll be doing a live with Curious Harry and Playmaker India. So Hiren and Musa Bhai will be joining me. Looking forward. State of Indian football, I'm going to title it. And as I said, like, share, subscribe. Even those who are watching maybe later on. Thanks a lot for following, watching. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Tomorrow evening. I sadly won't be able to do a live watch along for the first match of the Indian women's team, but do support, and I'll catch you tomorrow evening for a special discussion. Thanks, everyone.